Hello and welcome to Sustainability is the Key, how to unlock your organisation's potential to deliver tender success. In this session, we're going to look at social value. This is one of our shorts in a series of sustainability webinars. We're covering net zero with the NHS, social value, modern slavery, and the evergreen. So please take a look at the other ones if any of those take your fancy. But today, right now, we're going to look at social value. So just to introduce myself, I'm Sarah Joy Newton. I'm an adult and paediatric qualified nurse. I used to be a medical sales representative until I went into the compliance side of getting products with the NHS. So I am an ISO internal auditor, I'm a tender bid writer, and also I'm a sustainability and procurement expert with the NHS, social value practitioner and a carbon footprint calculator. So we said we're going to look at social value in this session. So sustainability is now a significant element of public procurement tendering, which includes environmental and social value considerations. And social value is now significant in the fact that it is scored in public procurement tenders. So our key learning points, we're going to look at the legislation, evaluation models, NHS specifics, and how to prepare and deliver. So what is social value? Social value is the effect an organisation has on the well-being of individuals, communities and society as a whole. The government are doing this because they want to capitalise on government buying power. They want to maximise the value of their contracts. They want to be able to deliver on those agendas that they have, and they also want to reflect the priorities that have been laid out in the National Procurement Policy Statement, the NPPS, which was launched in February 2025. They want to support businesses and communities and increase variety of companies delivering contracts. Originally published in June 2020, we saw the procurement policy note taking account of social value in the award of central government contracts, and this was updated in February 2025. Originally, it took consideration with and replaced it with a requirement to score, and it also presented a social value model in which to evaluate social value in tenders. Social value is evaluated in tenders through the social value model. It can also be evaluated using the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the TOMS, specific questions written by the contracting authority. So let's have a brief look at the social value model comparison. The social value model of 2020, there were 5 themes, and they were COVID recovery, tackling economic inequality, fighting climate change, equal opportunity and well-being. At the new publication in February 2025, we have 5 missions, and these missions are reflective of the National Procurement Strategy to kickstart economic growth, making Britain a clean energy superpower, break down barriers to opportunity, build an NHS fit for the future, and take back our streets. So we have the 5 missions. There are now 8 outcomes and 17 model award criteria. There are further model sub-criteria and 33 standard reporting metrics. We're not going to go into the detail of those in this session because this is just an overview. So this is a chart showing the 5 missions and the 8 outcomes associated with those missions. You can also see in some tenders they will ask for evaluation around the around social value using the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are also linked into the social value model. I mentioned the TOMS. The TOMS stands for Themes, Outcomes and Measures, and this is managed by the Social Value Portal. We are seeing some contracting authorities using the TOMS as their evaluation method for scoring. There are 4 themes: work, economy, community and planet, and they are then further broken down into 14 outcomes, 30 core measures, and there are 116 measures in total. The TOMS was revised, and this is the reflection of it. It was revised and re-released in February 2025, and it is now open source. So you can go to the Social Value portal and download the new current TOMS. So when you're doing social value in tenders, you need to remember that while you have your overarching social value, which is very often linked with your ESG or CSR policies, which are really beneficial, they talk about what the organisation as a whole is doing and what social value is embedded within your organisation. These things are really, really important and vital to the running of your business. When you come to putting social value into a tender, you're looking at contractual social value. Therefore, the commitments must be deliverable, they must be measurable, they must be reportable, and they must be relevant and proportionate to the contract. What we are seeing more and more in tenders, though, is because the score is significantly weighted in many of them, that additionality is really vital, and also it can be the difference between winning or losing a tender bid. You need to be looking at using SMART objectives so that those goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely. It is almost a bit like being back in school when you're taking an exam and you're reading the question. You need to make sure that you read that question and you answer the question that's being asked within a tender. Refer to the evaluation methodology in the way that you answer your tender and give your response, because that is absolutely vital. It's great to tell a contracting authority about what you're doing as an organisation, but if you haven't answered their question or told them exactly how you're going to deliver social value that is relevant to their question and their ask and their contract, then that won't score you very well within the tender. So it is a new way of answering those questions, and it's really vital that you do make sure that you answer the question in front of you. If you need any assistance in writing tender bids, answering social value questions, putting social value in place within your organisation, or for that level 2 for Evergreen, we have a short webinar on the Evergreen requirements for around the scoring as well. So if you want any help or support in any element of tendering, then please contact me, and there are my contact details up on the screen now, and I will be delighted to speak to you about those. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen.